The aim of the Biotech Growth Trust is to capture the best investment opportunities in the biotechnology industry worldwide. We think OrbiMed Advisors is uniquely qualified to manage the trust because we are one of the largest investment firms solely dedicated to investing in healthcare. We have a truly global footprint with headquarters in New York and offices in San Francisco, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Mumbai, and Israel. Our staff includes professionals with a combination of both business as well as scientific and medical expertise, and we feel that scientific expertise is especially critical in evaluating new drugs being developed by biotech companies. Finally, we have been investing in biotech for over 20 years, so we have a lot of experience investing successfully in this particular sector. The portfolio management team is headed up by myself and my colleague Richard Clem. We've been co-portfolio managers of the trust since 2005. Working with us is a talented team of 4 biotech analysts, including 2 who have PhD degrees in the sciences. One of the benefits of working at OrbiMed is that we are able to draw upon the resources and expertise of the entire organization, including our private equity team, our colleagues covering other subsectors of healthcare, and our international offices in China and India. Their input is frequently helpful in getting a different perspective on the companies that we invest in. The Trump administration has made numerous public comments about how they intend to lower drug prices in the United States. Most recently, the president made a speech in May in which he outlined a number of steps the government planned on taking to lower drug prices. Those proposals included making changes to the drug supply chain and its system of rebates, modifying Medicare reimbursement of certain drugs, and encouraging approvals of biosimilars and generics. Importantly, despite what Trump had said during his election campaign, there was no mention of having the government directly negotiate drug prices with manufacturers. Overall, the proposals were regarded as fairly benign for the drug industry, and it's clear that this administration favors free market mechanisms as a way to moderate drug prices, and we think that is consistent with a healthy biotech industry. We are still very excited about the pace of innovation in the biotech sector. Over the past year, we've seen a number of significant scientific advances based on some novel technologies, including gene therapy, CAR-T cellular immunotherapy, and RNA modification. The very first gene therapy approved in the United States was launched late last year for a rare genetic eye disorder that leads to blindness. Recently, we've also seen positive results in clinical trials for gene therapy for muscular disease, hemophilia, and some types of anemia. The ultimate promise of gene therapy is to develop a one-time treatment that leads to a permanent cure for the disease, and there are over a dozen companies now focused on developing gene therapies for a wide range of diseases. Over the past year, we've also seen the approvals of the very first CAR-T therapies for leukemia and lymphoma, which entail harvesting a cancer patient's own immune cells, reprogramming them to fight cancer, and then reinserting those cells back into the patient. Responses to this approach have been dramatic, with many patients undergoing a complete remission of their cancer. Reflective of the high level of innovation going on in the sector is the fact that in 2017, 46 new drugs were approved by the FDA, the most number of new drugs approved in a single year since 1996. We do take a global approach to investing in biotech, but the vast majority of our current investments are in the United States because that is where most of the innovation is happening. We do have selected investments in Europe and Asia, and will continue to look for interesting opportunities in those geographies as well. China, in particular, is beginning to show evidence of an emerging biotech industry, so we are particularly excited about investing in some of the companies in that region. The most exciting biotech opportunities right now are in the areas of CAR-T immunotherapy, orphan diseases, and gene therapy, and we have investments in each of those areas in the trust right now. We've also seen positive breakthroughs recently in cystic fibrosis and Alzheimer's disease, and we believe each of those areas could lead to drugs with multi-billion-dollar potential. M&A remains an important driver of share price appreciation in the sector. Most biotech companies that successfully develop a product are ultimately acquired by a larger player. The level of M&A activity in 2017 was a bit lower than we had expected, likely due to uncertainty about tax reform legislation in the United States. At the end of 2017, tax reform was finally passed, reducing the U.S. corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%, and levying a one-time 15.5% repatriation tax on overseas earnings. That repatriated cash should increase the flexibility of companies to make acquisitions. With the passage of tax reform, we would expect M&A activity to accelerate. Thus far in 2018, we've seen some sizable announced transactions, including Novartis' $9 billion acquisition of the gene therapy company Avexis, Celgene's $9 billion acquisition of the CAR-T company Genotherapeutics, and Takeda's recent $62 billion bid for Shire, which demonstrates that larger biotechs can also be targets of M&A. After a strong period of outperformance in the first half of fiscal 2018, we have experienced a period of underperformance versus our benchmark index recently, starting around October of 2017. The principal catalyst for the underperformance was the announcement of a number of unexpected negative events at Celgene, one of our largest holdings, who announced the trial failure of a key phase 3 pipeline drug and a downward revision to their long-term earnings guidance. Celgene was widely owned by generalist investors as a bellwether stock in the biotech industry with a long track record of reliable earnings growth. After the company disappointed, generalist investor interest in large-cap biotech waned considerably. Large-cap biotech began underperforming small-cap biotech by a considerable margin, and that underperformance has continued into 2018. Unfortunately, the portfolio had a significant 12% position in Celgene prior to the unexpected news, and the fund was overweight the large-cap biotech group generally in the second half of the fiscal year, hampering overall fund performance. Large-cap biotech companies are now trading at historical lows on both an absolute and relative basis versus the S&P 500. We do not think there is further valuation downside at current levels and would expect the group to re-rate upwards with either M&A activity or continued pipeline developments. We believe the recent period of underperformance is temporary, and we hope to outperform again for the balance of 2018. There are many reasons to be positive about the biotech sector. Innovation in R&D continues to be robust, the FDA regulatory environment is extremely favorable towards the approval of new drugs, M&A looks poised to accelerate, and the valuations among the large, profitable biotechs are at historical lows. Given the strong fundamentals of the industry, we continue to have a very positive outlook for the sector.